All right, guys, I'm going to go over how you can pass your CCNA. I'm going to give you some tips here. Let's go ahead and move on here to the next slide. So your main motivation is probably going to be the pay. An average CCNA holder can expect to make $78,000 a year. That's a lot of money. All right, working at a NOC. If you want to work at a NOC, making sure that the enterprise network routers and switches are online for the customers, and I think this is a great entry-level certification so you get your foot in the door. All right, CCNA Books. I'd recommend the all-in-one CCNA book. It's got some great packet tracer labs you can follow along with, and I think it's one of the best CCNA books I've read so far. I know Cybex has one, and I really didn't like it compared to the all-in-one CCNA book. Now, I'd recommend that you get the exam CRAM as well. So I read both of them. And the exam CRAM, it's got zero fluff. I mean, you could look at it almost like a study guide because it'll teach you exactly what you need to know. And it also offers some packet tracer labs that you could follow along with. All right, so when it comes to practice test, I recommend the exam sim practice test. They're a little on the pricey side, but if you're going to buy the net sim, I would recommend you just get the exam sim as well. In fact, both of those together would probably be enough to pass the CCNA without any bugs. So they have some great resources there. The CCNA network sim that Boson offers is just amazing. You get the hands-on knowledge that you need so you can pass the exam, and that's the best part, right? Because the CCNA is very much a practical exam. Now, granted, it composes mostly of multiple choice questions, but you have to understand the fundamentals, and you have to understand the commands. You have to understand network topologies in order for you to get through it. Now, the only way you're going to truly know them is if you're actually inputting the commands and you're seeing a network topology and you're configuring the routers and the switches. Now, granted, you could do that through Cisco Packet Tracer. The only issue with that is that you have to set up the whole thing, and that's great if you want to set up the whole thing. But the way that Boson sets it up, they have these very complicated network setups, and you're configuring RIP, OSPF, and everything. So you're gonna get the knowledge you need, and they break it down almost as if like a book almost. And so it's pretty great. So you can just follow along, read through the steps, and you'll understand what the protocols you're dealing with are, and everything a lot better than just reading a book, believe me. So I'd highly recommend it. All right, so once you're scoring about 90% on your practice test, hey, go schedule the exam, right? And test yourself a little bit harder because 90% is great, 95 is better, 100, and you're killing it, right? When it comes to video courses, I recommend IT Pro TV, CCNA 200, 301 videos. They're great. Highly recommend them. All right. Let me go ahead and see how I'm doing here. All right. And subnetting. Subnetting is probably the most difficult thing that you'll have to learn. But once you understand it, it's pretty easy from there, right? I recommend that you watch Professor Messer's 7-second subnetting video, all right? And when you get in and you're about to take your exam, just go ahead and they'll give you a scratch paper and you can go ahead and write down some like last minute notes like on your scratch paper. One thing I'd recommend is whatever he teaches you in 7-second subnetting, write that down in your scratch paper. So if you have to subnet during the exam, it's very easy. Okay. Some other things I would recommend that you input on that scratch paper when you are about to take the exam. From the Pearson VUE facility, I would recommend that you input the frequencies, so the Wi-Fi frequencies, your different routing protocols, so OSPF, IS, RIP, and such. and you input the that should be good. So, I'm pretty sure you'll think of some other things that you could put on there. All right, let's move on here. Now, keep calm on exam day, all right? You've got this. If you've been studying for, like me, I studied for like 6 months, but you may have to study less depending on your experience and such. All right, and I really wish you the best. Something else that I wanted to mention is flashcards. Now, I use flashcards for every exam I've taken, okay? And for the CCNA, some of the things that you could put on a flashcard would be, of course, your different protocols. Try to input how you would identify the different um, like JSON and such. How you can distinguish between JSON and the different type of APIs and let's go through some of the flashcards I have here actually, just so you can get an idea. See, I have quite a few of them. They're pretty thick, right? But this is exactly what I needed because I learned through repetition and flashcards give me that. So put stuff like how to configure OSPF and the different troubleshooting on this flashcard. So I'd memorize how to do that. I would input routing protocols, the administrative distance between them, and pretty much anything that when you're reading through the let me go ahead and scroll up here. So when you're reading through this book, the All-in-One CCNA Study Guide, and you're reading through the exam cram, they're going to have certain topics that they're going to highlight. They're going to say, write this down or take note of this. That's probably some information that you want to put on a flashcard, right? Now, again, so you study your flashcard, you've taken your practice test, you've done really well on your NetSims or your skill packet tracer, and once you score that 90, schedule the exam. And let me know how it goes in the comments section, okay? Now I took the CCNA, I took the Net Plus, the CompTIA Net Plus, and I'll tell you, CCNA was much harder. It was a lot more technical. The Network Plus was a lot broader, and the fact that they're vendor neutral, so you learn about different vendors. But the CCNA gave me the knowledge I needed to troubleshoot routers and switches to make me feel pretty confident. So day one, when I was at the knock and they asked me to go and troubleshoot a switch that had just gone down, I felt pretty comfortable. Go in there, review the logs, do the show commands, kind of get an idea of what occurred, and then move on from there. Okay. So if you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe, and let me know how you do on your exam. Again, I wish you the best of luck, and till next time.